Hi, this is Dave and welcome to the Table Express, where we take a quick look at today's board and card games, looking at them from a family perspective. Today we're going to be taking a look at Alien Labyrinth from Counter Clockwork Games. Now this is a 2 to 4 player card game where you've been abducted by aliens and placed on their maze of a ship. Over the course of the game you are to navigate their labyrinth and find various items and trade them in for credits to get off of the ship. When you have enough credits, be the first person to get to the escape pod and win the game. Alright, let's take a look at this game, how it's played, and I'll come back and I'll give you my thoughts. Alien Labyrinth comes with 24 of these square room cards, which are shuffled up and they are placed down in this shape as shown here. The starting room is the sleeping pods here, and this will change from game to game as it is shuffled in with the other room cards here. The game comes with 4 player tokens here. It also comes with a stack of these item cards here, which will be either generic items like gadgets or clothing or weapons, or there are specific items that give you special abilities. For example, here, this 3-headed space cat, when you go to sell it, you will gain 1 extra card. There are some additional cards that are in here, like for example here, this Deja Vu. It says when this card is revealed, immediately move all players to the sleeping pods and take another turn after this one. So you have some special events that will come up as well. The game also has 40 of these credit chips here, which will be used to purchase your way out of the labyrinth. In Alien Labyrinth, you have been abducted by aliens and they have placed you in this game for their entertainment. Over the course of this game, you have to maneuver through this maze of cards, finding some items along the way and being able to trade them at collection kiosks to amass credits. You need to have 10 credits. Once you have 10 credits, your job is to find and be the first to escape the starship in the escape pod. On each player's turn, it will consist of movement and then an action. On our movement, we will be able to move up to 4 times, and our movement include moving into an adjacent room, rotating the room that you're in, or rotating an adjacent room. Now to move into an adjacent room, if the room is unexplored, as soon as we are able to enter it, our movement will end and then we'll be able to take an action. So for example here, on this turn here, the red player will be going first. First action will be to move into this room, so we flip over this card and we will have to make sure that we have yellow arrows lining up for us to be able to move into that room. So that was 1 there. I can choose to rotate this as 2, and then I will move into here 3. So even though I did not take 4 movement, that will end my turn, and then I will draw a card from going into this room, and I'll place it face up in front of me, which I have is food right here. So everybody will have their cards placed face up in front of them until they are traded or used, and we cannot trade with other players. So for example here, player 2 will move 1, and then we'll try to go here, 2, 3. So they will draw a card here, and they will keep this one face up in front of them. Now this one here is a special card, which is the clothing, and if they chose to, we could trade it right away for 2 credits, or we can keep this in front of us and use it later on for an action. But I think the object of this game, we want to be able to get out of here quickly. We will go ahead and trade this, so use this action in this room and we will trade it for 2 credits. So this player will receive 2 credit tokens here. Next player here will move 1, 2, 3, and now we'll try to move into this room here, 4, and they will draw a card here. So they have this specimen here, which they can choose to trade in right away, which they will too, for 1 credit. And finally this 4th player here, we're going to move another direction. We'll move over here, 1, 2, 3, 4, move, and then they won't be able to move into this room quite yet because they didn't have enough points, but they will grab this card here. It says Gravity Well. When this card is revealed, immediately move all players into the room you are in and take another turn after this one. So now everybody's going to be moved back here, and I will now be able to take a turn here, which we will go 1, 2, 3, and draw a card here. And this play is going to continue moving around, trying to trade cards in and revealing the different cards here in an attempt to find the escape pod, which happens to be right here. Once we have amassed 10 credits, we'll have to use our actions to maneuver around this room to be able to get into this escape pod and get off of the spaceship. And that is how you play Alien Labyrinth. All right, let's talk about Alien Labyrinth here. And this is a fun game that uses the card rotation mechanic for movement around the game board, similar to that Dungeon Twister uses. Now in this game, the primary objective is to find items, turn them into credit coins, and get to the escape pod before anybody else in order to win the game. But that's easier said than done, because over the course of the game, you're going to have to maneuver around the ship to find items in order to trade them in at exchange kiosks. Now, sometimes you can trade items for cards, and so you're going to have to again, manage your movement and get to the proper spaces on the ship in order to exchange those. So the game is going to come down to, yes, it's a race, but it's also going to be how to best manage your movements and moving around the ship. Now, that's going to come in a couple different ways. Number one is the direction that you're going to move on the ship. Sometimes you may have to move further away from where the escape pod is, but that's one of the challenges in this game. Now, you can use your action points to rotate the rooms around, and so that's another factor that's going to come into this game. The more time that you spend rotating rooms, the less opportunity you're going to have to move from room to room. But that is part of the game itself, because you are essentially pawns in this game. You're providing entertainment for these aliens who have abducted you. So it really carries over the theme really, really well. This game is enjoyable and it's fast-paced because you're constantly having to move things around, and it's a race to be the first one to get off of the ship. Now, looking at this game from a family perspective, this is a great family game that everybody can spend time together playing because it plays very quickly. And the rules are simple enough that you just make some movements and you get actions, and you gain cards by going into unexplored rooms when you flip them over. So there's a very, very simple way to play this game, and it's a lighter game, so it's not complex. Now, there is strategy in how you're going to manage your movements and how you're going to manage your hand. Are you going to take the time to hold on to those objects that you find? Are you going to hold them in your hand and wait for the prime time to trade them in at the risk of maybe being far away from the escape pod? Or are you going to turn them into coins the first chance that you get? Now, you saw in the little bit of the gameplay that we took a more aggressive stance and we converted some of those items into coins right away. But sometimes you're going to have to weigh those options. This game also is really good for like spatially figuring things out and where you're going to rotate cards and how you're going to make the best movement, especially once the game board is being revealed. You'll be able to have to, in your mind, realize which way you're going to want to rotate those rooms to best give you the shortest path to where you need to go. The only thing that I have to say negative about this game is that it's not portable. The tiles themselves are quite large and it takes up a large footprint, so it's not something that can be taken out easily and played at a restaurant or something like that, because it just takes up so much space. So perhaps in the future they may make a smaller version of it with smaller cards to make it more portable, but this one's going to fill up an entire table when you play this game. So just be aware of that. So that would probably be the only thing that I would say is negative, because it just takes away from the portability, and so it makes it difficult to take this game out somewhere. But other than that, like I said, it's a fun, enjoyable game that families can play together. It's got a really cool space theme and lots of card twisting and moving around. So anyways, that's Alien Labyrinth. It's a good one. And if you're interested in picking up a copy, I will have information in the video description below. All right, that's it for now, and join me again next time as we take a look at another game and we see how it makes it to the table.